Greetings, my name is Belinda Wildcat, and my video presentation today will be regarding artificial and/or robotic legs and feet. To begin with, leg, foot amputations occur to people in all walks of life due to severe infection of the limb or limbs, gangrene, or peripheral arterial disease, severe injury to the legs due to crushing injuries or blast injuries, etc., or due to deformity with limited function or movement. And this could have occurred through birth. And this is my PowerPoint slide that goes with that. Whether or not it's above the knee or below the knee, a person's life, of course, is changed forever. But with today's modern technology in the form of robotics, prosthetics for legs and feet, they don't need to stop their lives and closet themselves indoors, and just have a lifetime of non-activity. Once they go through the process of healing after surgery, they can resume day-to-day activities. But as you probably know, just from general information, amputation is not a simple procedure. And I don't have a medical background, and I'm sure you understand the gravity of everything that's involved in the procedure itself. Recovery and rehabilitation from the amputation itself is, of course, not a simple thing. And amputees deal with much pain, medical care, and continued medical assessments of the healing limb before a prosthetic can even be involved, if in fact they are able to be recommended for one. Also, I believe everyone knows the term phantom limb pain, which occurs with any type of amputation, and I've heard that it can be extremely painful. Included in this whole package of the amputation are the emotional and psychological issues. The National Health Service of the United Kingdom indicates that prosthetics are not recommended for everyone, and there are several factors involved in this particular decision. And this is my second PowerPoint slide. But those factors, of course, involve amputees with frail or serious health conditions because of age or serious physical or heart conditions, and they're just not suitable for, they're not suitable candidates for prosthetics. If an amputee is considered to be a suitable candidate after a doctor's assessment, the type of prosthetic limb depends on the type of amputation and the conditioning of the muscle in the remaining limb, the amputee's general health, and the physical actions that the prosthetic limb would be used for, along with the appearance of the prosthetic, whether the amputee would want a realistic prosthetic or one that would be just for complete functionality and not so much depending on what it looked like. Growing up as a child, I remember pirates, movies, the black and white movies with pirates and their wooden peg leg. And but then also as a preteen in 1973, they came out with the television series The $6 Million Man. And it was a favorite that I loved to watch, every week. And with the combination of science fiction and the drama, it drew me in. And even now, who would have thought back then the concept of bionic limbs would actually be a reality and developed by people from all walks of life? There's so many types of people that get involved with the building of prosthetic limbs, especially prosthetic legs and the feet. And just as a historical background, the prosthetic leg has been in development and improvement since approximately 1500 BC. It's been that long ago. And of course, through the Amputation Coalition website, it lays out a complete history of prosthetics and tells you that the Egyptians were among the first to begin the technology of prosthetics. And that's really not surprising considering how they managed to build those massive pyramids. And they actually have found evidence of these prosthetics. They found with a mummy back in the 1880s. It was called the Cairo toe, and it was an actual toe that was made. It was visually beautiful, and it was fully functional, and it was made out of papier-mâché. And I'm going to give you an example here. You can see the toe, and then also you can see what we have currently today. And that shows you how far prosthetics have advanced from the Cairo toe to today. The main focus today, though, is the functionality of a leg-foot prosthesis. And we're in such a fast-paced world, and people need to have prosthetics that enable them to manage their daily life affairs, beginning first thing in the morning to when they put it on, to allow them to carry on throughout their day, and something that's comfortable and allows for easy walking to match as much of their natural walking pattern as possible. In my research, the German company Ottobock is a leader in prosthetics, and they have companies around the world. As seen in my last PowerPoint slide here, it's amazing the work that they do. They have complete silicone coverings that look so very realistic. You can kind of see it in the PowerPoint slide, and also when you go to their website. It's so realistic, even down to the toes, and it's just absolutely amazing. And then on the flip side, however, they produce something very futuristic looking that resembles nothing like the human leg, which I showed here on this side. And usually that type of prosthetic is used for runners use it. It's more of a sports type prosthetic for runners or just athletes that participate in sports. On the disabledworld.com website, there are two main types of prosthetics for foot-leg amputation. And this is just two general categories, or main general categories, but there are the transtibial prosthesis, which is a prosthetic for an amputation below the knee, and then a transfemoral prosthesis, which is a prosthetic for an amputation above the knee. I've learned that athletes employ the use of robotic type prosthetics to enable them to continue to participate in activities such as running, skiing, and snowboarding. And I've watched athletes on YouTube, of course, and even links through Facebook, these tremendous athletes that due to accident or injury, or it could have even been from illness. I've watched these athletes with these prosthetics that are out on treadmills or on the slopes, and they're managing to go just as fast, and sometimes it looks like they're even going faster than people with fully functioning organic legs. There was a man on a treadmill that I watched, and he was going full out, and I just was simply amazed. I tried to find some information about what's a top speed on someone with prosthetic legs, but because there's so many different types, I kind of found a general figure of like 23 to 24 miles per hour running, but I'm not sure. I mean, it could possibly be faster than that. Artificial legs they're just a continually evolving field. And because of all the medical experts, engineers, there's body movement experts, athletes, ordinary people, and everyone's working together, or they're consulting with each other. And leg prosthetics can be either simple or extremely complicated with electronic systems involving sensors. And the Australian Academy of Science even discussed osseointegration, which involves living bone and titanium implants working together, basically getting, fused together somehow. And this type of structure actually gives an amputee better control, stability, and it's comfortable, and it reduces the possibility of any type of physical atrophy occurring because of the use of the remaining leg structure. And I think, like people that are, anybody that's confined to a wheelchair or bedbound, if they don't use their muscles, they lose their muscles. And so these type of special prosthetics can really help maintain leg structure or body structure even, because they'll be out, they'll be physical. And this sounds like a perfect way to allow an amputee to have a full and normal life with these prosthetics. Also discussed by the Australian Academy is the ongoing testing and improvements to a brain prosthetic connection to allow for even better control of movement of legs, arms, whatever prosthetics are connected to a person's body. And I just find that simply just amazing. One of the last things that I wanted to talk about is the cost. And we know that not everybody can afford the best. And I don't want to get on a soapbox or anything, but I think everybody deserves to have prosthetics that will allow them to have as normal life as possible. And you understand with all the health insurance, that type of thing. But what I found is leg prosthetics can cost anywhere from $5,000 to $50,000. And I'm sure that can be even more. And the cost can be even more than that because of, over time parts break down or things wear out and they need to be replaced. And I'm sure depending on how expensive the model is, that particular part or section is going to be expensive to replace. And so there's so much regarding leg prosthetics, and I found so much information and video and websites that it's just an amazing field. And it's still advancing, and there's so much more to come, and it's going to be really exciting to see, through YouTube or videos on Facebook, how far this is going to advance. So thank you for listening and watching my presentation, and have a good evening.